House lawmakers are ready to pass legislation that links student loan rates to the financial markets, and this is in spite of a veto threat from President Obama. This bill is supported by Republicans. The bill would avoid a rate increase for students with new subsidized Stafford loans if lawmakers pass it. That's expected to happen today. We want to talk about this with a Democrat. Most Democrats generally oppose the measure, but we want to get a view from Congressman Mark Takano of California. Mark Takano is joining us on the morning briefing today. So happy to have him on the morning briefing. Mark Takano, tell me about your district, first of all. What part of California do you represent?
Well, John, pleasure to be here. My district is located in Riverside County. The city of Riverside is the heart of it. It's about 350,000 people, and it's located midway between Los Angeles and Palm Springs.
Now, I want to get your take. I mentioned that most Democrats generally oppose this bill. When you think about a bill, I think without knowing the details of it, that would potentially bring down the costs that students are paying every month to pay off their student loans, sounds like a good thing. Where do you stand on this particular bill?
Well, I generally don't like variable interest rates. If I were to buy a home, I wouldn't be interested in a variable interest rate. I'd look for a good interest rate that you could lock in, that was fixed. There's so many risks attendant to the rise in interest rates, and there are estimates out there that rates are going to rise within the next 10 years, and this Republican bill would tie student loan interest rates to 10-year Treasury notes. To give you some idea of how this would work, right now, student loans are at 3.4%. If we don't do anything to fix the situation, they're going to automatically rise to 6.8%. Doing nothing and allowing interest rates to rise to 6.8 is still better than this Republican bill. This Republican bill would tie the Treasury notes plus 2.5% and would ultimately rise to 8.5%. That's the Republicans cap it at 8.5 for the unsubsidized Stafford loans. Counting, the compounding effect, this is going to be worse than doing nothing.
Here's what I don't get, and explain this to me and our audience as well. So if I were to make a deposit at my bank, I'm getting less than 1% in terms of interest rate, right?
That's right.
If I take out a loan, let's say a 15-year fixed rate mortgage, I'm going to pay like around 2.75%, right?
That's right.
And here we're talking about student loans, and there's a great possibility, if nothing gets done, that on July the 1st, student loan rates will rise to 6.8%. That is remarkable that is an interest rate that students who've graduated from college, just starting out, would have to pay. Why are interest rates so high for student loans?
Well, interest rates, right, the 3.4 is still higher than what you would pay for a mortgage currently. And it's not as high as the 6.8 it would go to. There's a higher risk that people assume that you can secure a mortgage loan with the home that you're buying, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a bit of a risk with students because they may default on it. You're not sure that we're actually just betting that they're going to be successful. And I think for America's kids, they are a good bet by and large. But there is a default rate. So a slightly higher interest rate, I think is warranted for students, but not 6.8 given the current market conditions. I think that's terrible, and especially. But see, I want to shift this a little bit because we are getting all worked up over interest rates. I think we need to be discussing, along with this, the principal loan amount that students are taking on. when I graduated from Harvard College in 1979, I don't believe my total loan liability was more than $15,000. In fact, I think it was more like $11,000.
That's a total. That's not just that's over the course of a 4-year course of study, right?
That's right. Because Harvard kicked in a sum from a big chunk from its endowment. They looked at my parents' income, and they put together a package of grant, loan, and work study, and they looked at what was the reasonable amount of debt to put on the student's shoulder. People are graduating from public universities with upwards of $80,000, $100,000 worth of debt. I find this just unfathomable. So, with an $80,000 debt load or a $100,000 debt load, moving from 3.4% to 6.8% is quite significant over the life of 30 years. I mean, this is a very serious thing.
Absolutely. So when you say you want to focus on principle, or some attention should be focused on principle, what is it that you suggest should be done in regards to principle?
Well, I should give you some background. I have been, before I came to the Congress, I was actually teaching 1 year ago today. I was a high school teacher. I taught high school English for 23 years. I've been a community college trustee for 22 years. President Obama mentioned in his State of the Union address the idea of reinventing America's high schools, and he cited an example in New York City of a student graduating from high school and at the same time also graduating with a 2-year career and technical degree. So essentially, the student graduated with a high school diploma and an AA degree. If we could achieve that efficiency with greater numbers of students, I believe we can, because I believe our teenagers are under-challenged by our public school system. We can reinvent the curriculum, reinvent America's high schools, so that both students who want to get a career in technical education and those students who want to gain transfer credits to a university, we could essentially knock off 2 years of their undergraduate education. I mean, this is not a panacea. It won't work for all students, but it's the type of thing that Republicans and Democrats should be able to get behind, because it's about driving greater efficiency, and it's about getting students prepared, our young people prepared to work immediately, and it's also about accelerating through higher education.
So we know that the bill, which will be taken up today, will likely pass. Republicans control the House of Representatives. Some Democrats still are seeking an extension of the current rates until Congress takes up a higher education bill later. What do you see happening on the Senate side? And we know that the president, of course, as it relates to the House bill, has vowed to veto it.
Well, I think it would be disastrous for the Republicans to not try to fix this. I think they're being very silly in a lot of ways. I think we should extend this rate at least until 2015, or at least until we can get a fix. I favor keeping it at 3.4, or somewhere not too far north of there. But I certainly don't certainly. But the thing is, they put together a proposal where doing nothing is better than adopting that proposal.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. So I don't know where the Senate will go with it. If we're stymied, and here gridlock is better than Republican than swaying to the Republican their proposal.
Mark Takano, congressman, freshman congressman, elected to the Congress in 2012, formerly a teacher in the public schools in Riverside, California, represent the 41st Congressional District in California. Thank you so much for talking about this on the morning briefing today, and you have a great day.
My pleasure. Thank you.
House